Bunmi Abel TV, where we inspire and inform you endlessly, with knowledge to guide, uplift and grow. Thank you for joining, it's a journey, let's go. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. From wisdom to insight, each video's a gift, helping you rise, giving your spirit a lift. So hit that subscribe, stay tuned to see all the great things on Dr. Bunmi Abel TV. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. Dr. Bunmi Abel TV here for you. Inspire, educate, inform. That's what we do. Thanks for being part of this growing family. Let's keep shining together in unity.
Hello, and hello again. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us. Hello. Sorry, that's me calling. That's me calling the guest. I am your host as usual. I'm here to coordinate the discussion today. And hey, we have very unique guests. And today is for the papas to tell us what they're made of. So we acknowledge the role of fathers and dads. This has evolved, being over the years. And today, fathers are mentors, nurturers, active participants in shaping their children's future. So we have an incredible lineup of guests joining us, and they'll be sharing their personal experiences, their challenges, insights on what it truly means to be a father in today's world. And we know, some fathers do childcare as well. Some fathers even help in the cooking and all of that. So, from balancing work and family to fostering emotional bonds and breaking stereotypes, we're going to cover all. Today is for the papas. So, thank you very much for joining us. Do you want to introduce yourself, Mr. Sunday? Papa Sunday Oluwadare.
All right, thank you, host. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone. You're welcome. My name is Sunday Ubadari. I'm a father, so I think we can leave the introduction at that level. Father of three.
Wow. Thank you very much. I like that way I said, my name is I'm a father. Wow. That is spot on. Thank you very much. So thank you for accepting to be here. I'm trying to get some people on, and I don't know why they are not coming on. But hey, I think it's time to remind them if you know any of them. Let's remind our viewers. Thank you to those who are behind us, and thank you, Mrs. Adekunbi Ajayi, one of our guests on the show for the mamas. So she's here to also support and see what we have for the papas today. So thank you very much for joining in. And so, if you're new here, please like, comment, share, and let us share this video far and wide so that others can learn and others can also contribute through their comments, because we all learn from ourselves. Nobody is perfect here. We haven't got any perfect mamas and papas here. We're just here to share experiences, insights, and how we can learn one or two things from other people. So thank you very much for being here. Without spending too much time, I'll just ask the first question. How has the role of fathers in parenting evolved in today's society? And what are the biggest challenges modern dads face?
All right. Thank you again. Let me say that not only the roles of Papa evolving, everything is actually evolving. What these things used to be, certainly no longer what they used to be, or they are now. So I remember when people like us were growing up, everyone on the street is a father, if it's a man, and everyone on the street as a woman just also available to be a mother. But now we see that it has changed seriously, and now we begin to have absentee fathers these days, and the effect is so much on the children. In those days, even if the father is absent, almost every man on the street is available to play the role of a father. But these days, everyone is caged now. Everyone is on his own, and therefore, the father, who is the biological man in the house, if he's not available, then the role of the father is therefore not being taken up by anybody. And it's very, very crucial because the bonding is quite essential in implanting in these children the role of leadership, the essence of leadership, because there is something a father represents in every home. That discipline, that leader, that headship is always seen in them. Whenever they're not there, there's this tendency, this assumption that, oh, something crucial is missing. And there's this adage where I come from, that there is a name that you don't give to a woman except the head of that family is no longer available or is no longer alive, which shows that the role of a father is quite essential. And the biggest challenge we have now, going back to that, is absenteeism. Absenteeism. Some of them, some fathers are available physically just to come sleep and spend the night. And tomorrow morning, as early as possible, before the child is even awakened, the father is already on the road. Let's take Lagos, for instance. Somebody is working on the island in Lagos, in Nigeria, and is living on the mainland as far as Moweba for and all that. And by 4 a.m., he has to hit the road. And the child has not woken up by the time he hits the road. And by the time he's returning, 11, 12, midnight, the child has gone to sleep. So we could see that he's physically available in the night, but it's available at the time the child is not available. So we have and it is because the world is very competitive now. Let's say
Yes.
the element of what do you call it? Corporate society we belong to now. You see, it's no longer as what it used to be. In those days, you could have a first degree, and you are certain that you will ride to the peak of your career. But these days, you must study further. I was still speaking with somebody recently. I said, in the days when we were growing, our fathers were having their evenings.
Hmm.
We sit together under the tree, play IO game, play a lot of games, drink palm wine together before they go to bed. But these days, we don't have evenings. We'll get back home late. Sometimes you find it difficult to even know how your compound look, because you are getting in the night and you are getting out still in the dark. So that's the major challenge we're having. So the presence of the fathers, go to schools of these children and ask for records of parent teachers association meetings. You only see men there.
Hmm.
The reason is that they're not available. Jumping from one job to another just to make ends meet because of inflation, because of competition. Some of these competitions are also unhealthy competitions, but it's a challenge that the world has thrown at us. That's the biggest challenge in raising children, which dads face these days.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, and being that more women are are employed now, so the role has kind of not just shifted a bit, but as is now being shared. So there's shared responsibility in the home where the father sometimes will, be the one to drop off the child at school or even pick them home from school or attend parent meetings. Sometimes, is a father who does the childcare while the mom
Runs
like
to
when I
work.
was when I was having children, when I started, when our family was still very young, I had to do, if I do full time, my husband will do part time. If I do part time, my husband will do full time. So that there's always one person with the child. Because if you have to count the cost of childcare, it's terrible. I mean, you just literally be getting your salary from your work and giving it to
I'm giving to
the
check it.
nannies, and so we have to find a way around this. So I think the way the economy is now, and the shift, the responsibilities are still the fathers being the head of the home. The only thing is, it's all the work is not on the fathers anymore. In those days, you see fathers, if they finish work, like you said, maybe they are playing drafts, they are sitting down at one place, all the men are gathered and drinking palm wine and all this. Well, that we watched in those days on on TV. I know my own dad was always going to work and all that, but you see that they are always in like a group. But nowadays, nobody has time for even social life. The social life people have now is just online, and I think men are being more involved in the lives of children than ever before. I may be wrong. I don't know, but that's where you, as a dad, come into to educate us on it, if that's true or not.
No, you're right. You're right. They are more involved now than before,
Mm,
but unfortunately, the presence of a father was just like displayed that figure, that leadership figure,
yeah.
right? But now they are involved in, taking the children to school and all that, running to market to pick this or that. Agreed, sincerely. They are now more involved, but the, the touch of the society
Mm,
we are in has made it happen that that father could be present and yet his mind is not there. Is the assignment it brings home from the work and all that. But physically, let's drive this car to drop these children in school. Just imagine he's dropping the child in school and he has to get back to his work in the next few minutes. And if anything should go wrong, this child say, "Oh, Dad, I just forgot something at home. Can we go back?" The man gets scattered.
mm,
Feels like, "Oh, I have to get to my work too." So that is presence, but his presence is not like those days. I would say when the father is present those days, he was not in a hurry. But these days, even if his presence rather, is in a hurry.
mm,
He's in a hurry, and sometimes once anything distorts the plan, the arrangement, it could begin to flare up. It could begin to behave like a terror. It's not, perhaps it's not happy to behave that way, but it's also looking at what will I face in my office. Will I be
mm.
termed again as being on serious or a late comer and all that? But look at the fathers then. Almost every system of production in those days wears the face of human. Let's put it that way, human. But the generation we are in now is in a haste from all angles, very much in haste.
Yeah.
So, by virtue of being very much in haste, the father may be involved in parenting, but is involved in a hurry. Most of the time, is involved with absent mind. That's what I'm trying to drive at. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we have on the screen another Papa in our midst, Papa Francis. And funny enough, his own title has always been Papa because he was the NCCF Papa of my tribe. So
Oh,
the Papa is still on him. The
that's
Oh
Papa.
my
great.
God.
So
That's great.
welcome to the Mamas and Papas talk. But today is for the Papas.
I
Thank
was the DD that time, drama director.
Wow.
you. Wow.
Th- Thank you, my sister. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, very audible.
Okay. It's my pleasure being here. And I mean, she said, I'm Papa. In those days, I used to feel embarrassed when, you know, I never liked it, but eventually I just have to get used to it because there was nothing I could do about it. But I mean, it's a pleasure serving the people of God.
That's
And
great.
and that actually puts me on a pedestal of parenting right from when I didn't even have a child.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it's an interesting topic she brought up for discussion today, and I hope God will help us to be able to do a good justice to it. And thank you, Sister Bumi, for what you
You're
are
welcome.
doing. I try to look at some other past editions, and I see you're doing a great job. God bless you.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. So, would you like to add your voice to the first question, which is how has the role of fathers in parenting evolved in today's society, and what are the highest challenges modern dads face?
Hmm. Yeah, it's a fantastic question. I mean, first and foremost, when we look at um, what fatherhood actually is, and in the past, when we look at the evolution of fatherhood, traditionally, fathers were seen as providers for the family.
Hmm.
And when, you know, in those days, we remember our fathers, they are the ones that go to work. The mamas stay at home to take care of the kids, to make the home, like prepare food, uh, get a house cleaned and everything being in order, take care even of the fathers when they return from work, whatever job they were doing, whether farming or whether they're in corporate setting. I remember in those days that's how it used to be. But today's fatherhood, entails much more than that. I mean, dads are more involved, not just in being providers, but also in caregiving, and much more. The most part that I think I would like fathers of today to pay attention to is in the area of emotional support
Hmm.
for the children. Um, because from research, we see that engaged fathers uh, have the capacity to develop better social skills with their children. And we can see in the society, in a home where fathers are really present, it makes a difference in the life of the kids, and even in the family generally. So, looking at the way fatherhood has evolved, we can see that the society expectation of a father is just, it keeps enlarging.
Yeah.
So, and but one thing that really, that bothers me is when you want to go into a profession, you want to be a professional, you want to get involved in a career, you want to develop a career, you go to school, you go for training, you do all those things to get yourself ready for the job and the journey ahead. But unfortunately, there's nowhere fathers are prepared for parenting. And I think it's something that the society needs to take a good look at. For me, it was a big challenge initially, because if care is not taken, there is a way you just kind of import what you saw your parent do, and you just import that into how you want to, parent your own children.
Hmm.
And it's a default, but there are a lot of things that are fundamentally not right with that system. Kudos to our forefathers and our fathers. Probably they did just what they knew how to do. But our society is different now, and we
Hmm.
need to make sure that you know, we look at what are peculiarities in our society today and be able to model our parenting style along with that, especially with the challenge of social media, the
Yeah.
challenges of getting good education for the kids, balancing social and emotional behavior into the life of our kids. It's a big challenge that we as dads are facing. and most especially families that are having absent father or father
Mm.
figure. They feel it so much. I live here in the US and I can see this, when you go out into the society, into the public, and you see some behaviors and you wonder, hmm, there were no fathers to actually show these kids how to behave. And
Yeah.
that's a big challenge
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we face.
Exactly. You're right. And actually that takes us to the next question, which is about the emotional help you talked about. So what practical ways can fathers build strong emotional bonds with their children from infancy to teenage years?
Thank you. The first thing I would say is understanding your children's um, how, how they are made up, understanding their temperament, understanding their nature. No two kids are ever the same.
Sure.
So we need to be able to relate with each child based on their temperaments. Even though you may have a playbook of how you want to treat your children, but you need to know that a child that is quick tempered needs some form of restraint to be able to handle issues, unlike a child who is very calm, very cool, and you just need to study your children. That's the first challenge I had. I have two boys. My first is going to be 16 in next month, and the younger is 12. The older boy is a cool, calm, and collected person. He does more of thinking than acting. Meanwhile, the younger brother is, very witty, quick. He speaks a lot, all those. He doesn't, he's not that cool kind of a person. So I can see that they are different in some ways. So, and when I'm interacting with them, I needed to learn how to deal with them, how to interact with them. So building strong emotion involves having a close relationship in the first place. I remember when they were young, I was an auditor. I would travel all over the country for work. But the little time I come around, sometimes we'll go out together. We go to play together. When they are riding their bicycles, I'm with them. We're riding together, and it's our bond became so strong to the extent that my first one, then I think he was around 7, 8, or 9. He will go to the gym with me, even though he can't do anything in the gym. But you won't believe that today he's physically, he's very
It's
much interested in physical activity. He's an athlete, he's a student athlete, based on the interaction we've had with Bill. He asks questions and all those stuff. So basically, we need to develop that interaction, understanding the makeup, the temperamental makeup of our kids. And then we should also learn, study, listen to podcasts like this, listen to experts. I read books about parenting because sometimes I run into challenges. I'm like, what do I do? So yeah, and I don't just want to parent my kids based on how the society feels it should be, based on current events. No, I want to build based on the knowledge of the Word of God,
mm,
based on you know educational knowledge, based on I want to make sure that I have all the various perspectives to be able to nurture these kids and build those characters in them. Because if you don't, if you are not close to your kids, they will not be your friends. So I want to be friends with them first. Then I'm able to listen to them. They're able to listen to me. We're able to share even some very sensitive issues. They should be free to speak to me about it, because every day they go out there, they run into things, they run into issues, and they may not know how to go about it.
All
So
right.
if they are not, if they are not close to me, they won't be able to talk to me, and they will just be out there. Other people will teach them, and social media will teach them how to handle those situations.
Yeah.
And those situations might not be the solutions they get might not even be right most of the time.
Yeah, thank you very much. You said so much about some of the things you said was having a one-to-one with your children, building fun memories together, and just having that time for them. So time is a very essential thing. But before we go on to the next question, let me ask, Papa Sunday Oluwadare, do you have any addition to how to create practical ways to create strong emotional bonds with children from infancy to teenage years?
Yeah, yeah, said it all. Maybe it's like summarizing it. But before you get to the stage, he started by saying that there's a need to learn,
Mm,
to like a preparation for the fatherhood. And I think the preparation for the fatherhood is when you are growing as a young man, so you already propelling yourself for a future that you will want. And now, knowing the knowledge of, or having the knowledge of God, then you pray into the future of these children even before they're born.
yeah.
You already spoken into their future. And then that will now guide you, beginning to observe them, their differences, their potentials, their particularized features, and then you use that one to guide them, just like he has said. And once you are available, by the time you are available, then let me put it this way: you need to be a bit of all profession to them. You must know a bit of medicine, a bit of, and it's a bit of all profession, so that when they are bringing a question to you, let them begin to see you as if you have solution to all problems. So whatever they now pick from the social media or wherever, they bring to your table because they already see you as a figure that knows everything. In their gentle mind, they believe you know everything.
Yeah.
So you will now use the knowledge of God to reshape what they have picked from outside. Then
Yeah.
they get better.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And like it's been said, not parenting is not one size fits all. They're all different. Even if you have 20 children now from one family, drinking the same water, eating the same food, they will all be, even twins are different. So they will all be different, and you have to customize parenting. Like because there's this podcast I joined on parenting. It says um we should desist from default parenting, like how it was handed over to you, like it was said
Mm.
here, but customize parenting to each child. And so sometimes it might even have to lead to, would I say, compromise in one sense,
Yeah, yeah.
like engaging in their interests. You may like football and you don't want any other game, but your child is interested in basketball. What do? Do you just say, okay, go and do yours, I'll do mine? No, sometimes you just have to have that interest in their own thing, and
Mhm.
show them you care and all of that. So I know you fathers, you have it all in your bags. I can't speak for the fathers, but I know that you are, with the evolving kind of parenting we have in the 21st century. It takes strong men to be there for their children, because not all men want to be there. They just want the ready-made products. Want the ready-made product. They don't want to do the work, so they prefer you. That's why some are runaway fathers and so many things. So kudos to you, fathers, for staying with the family and helping to nurture those children to fruition. Now, the next question is, how can dads balance work responsibilities with being present and involved in their children's lives? Viewers, if you're listening, please Write your comments, write your questions. Let us brainstorm together, and let's make it as interactive as possible. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much, Mama Kumbi Ajayi. She says good evening and says as they should be. Okay. I think that was a comment for one of the talks. And then she says communication is key. Effective communication with the children, being approachable. Not all dads are approachable. Some of the children, when they hear the horn of the car, hey, this is time to run away on the opposite direction. So parents, fathers especially, need to be approachable. Thank you very much for that. Now it takes me to the next question, which is how can dads balance work responsibilities? Over to you,
All right.
Papa Sunday.
All right. Thank you very much. I put it this way that responsibility for the father, it goes beyond your profession, the one that brings your earning. It touches on your responsibility in the church, your responsibility in the society, some other groups that you belong to. You shouldn't be a bench woman. Once you get to such groups and you are making laudable contributions, you will want to repeat that at home. And do you know your children will begin to observe you as daddy has contributions that are germane. And therefore, when you get home and you're tired, what you just did in that office, contribution you just made in that training, in that seminar you had in your office, or you're teaching in the church and all that, the thing is bubbling inside of you. So no matter how tired you are when you get home, you will want to release those of the points that belong to your children. And then they also already know, for instance, just imagine that you are teaching the teenagers in your church and your child is in the class. And the child can see how all the children are responsible to you and responding to you. They transfer that big respect to you. Then if there are questions that are not clear in that class, they're likely going to ask you at home. Then if you are doing a training from your office and your office is bringing a question that you know your children will need to answer this question, or we need to know about it, or some solutions were made in the office or in that training that you think will benefit your be beneficial to your children. When you get home, no matter how tired you are, you want to download it to them that they might pick it before such knowledge leaves your mind. So when you are responsible, really responsible, your responsibility will be obvious also at home. You can't be responsible out there and be less responsible at home. I've seen that happening. So that's what I want to start that. Get responsible out there. All your responsibilities in the office and all areas that you are involved, once it's in you, making you active, you will transfer that active nature to your children at home. That's how I've said. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And can we have your contribution as well, Papa Francis?
Awesome. Thank you for that point. I'll first say that in balancing work responsibilities and being present as a father and a husband, the first thing I would say is we need emotional intelligence. The first thing, understand yourself. So understand yourself, understand your needs, understand the needs of your family, understand the needs of your children. When you are able to do that, for me, that's the first step. So I'm not the kind of a person that can do many things at the same time. So what I do, I try to, because I understand myself, I understand my limitation. So I try to prioritize. So I will always advise people, even before I moved to the West, back in Africa, I would tell I don't like taking work home. So if it's possible, I will advise don't take work home. Use your time in the office or whatever you are doing. Use your time judiciously. Do what you ought to do in the office at the right time so that there will be no need to take work home. And I know I've had bosses that, they will like get this thing done, jump on you, and you know, I have to develop a system, of humbly and politely, you know, charging back. Like, okay, this is what I've done. This is what I've done. This is what you expect me to do to deliver on, and realistically, this is how I can get this delivered. I won't put up a fight, but I mean, my colleagues always say that there is a way Francis will say no to you, and you want to run to inside the fire. So, yeah, I like to be diplomatic. One, because I don't want to overload myself with unnecessary things. I like to do the right thing at the right time. That is one. Emotional intelligence. Prioritize. Then the second thing I'll also say is create prioritization involves creating time. Know your schedule. The time. You won't be surprised that last night I I got back home around 12:30 a.m. because of some things I was involved in, you know. And my son is an athlete, so his team is competing in a meet. He's a sprinter, so they have a meet this morning, and he has to be at the school because the school bus is leaving. Today is Saturday. The school bus is leaving by 7:30 a.m. So we have a choice either for him to get an Uber to go to school, and it takes about 20-25 minutes from our house to get to the school. So, and despite the fact that I got back home late and I slept late, I have to sacrifice waking up early, unlike how I should be sleeping Saturday morning, to take him because he said that I can't rely on Uber. Yesterday, I waited almost 40 minutes to get a ride home after my practice, after my training. So, and I have to look at it. All right, I have to go. So, basically, prioritizing and time management is very key. Like my wife, if she's talking to you and you look absent or you are not concurring to what she's saying, oh, you are looking for trouble. That is how it. So those are kind of things, time management. When I want to have time with the kids, I want to be fully present. I want to listen to them. I want them, I want all of us. In fact, sometimes I would say, no phones. We are talking to ourselves as humans. So that works. And I will also say, take advantage of technology. Use technology to your advantage. You can have scheduling tools. Yeah, all these are phones and gadgets we have. There are a lot of functionalities they have that can help us manage our life, not just going to Instagram and scrolling. I can plan the whole of my week on my phone and set alarms for when I'm supposed to do what, And once the time comes, whatever I'm doing in this, I stop and move to the next thing. So the time we need to be at home, to be present with our kids, to be present with our family, it shouldn't be the time we are thinking or working or doing other things. But these days some people work from home, and that makes it even worse. So there's no difference between your work time and your being present at home. That thing is very challenging, which I hope everybody that works at home, whether dad or mom, you work at home, try to understand that work time is different from family time. Create time for your family. And these little moments we are sharing, we don't know how great they will we can't even estimate how valuable they can be for the kids even in their future.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think we should just take it further. We can have further discussion about this. It's so unending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. No one knows it all, and that's why we learn from ourselves. It may just be one word, be like, wow, I've been thinking of how to do that with my children. But hearing you say that, I'm able to apply that. So that's why it's a beautiful world when variety is the spice of life. So thank you very much again for your time here. One more question. I know we've got two more questions to those who are online. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing, for commenting, for writing your own questions as well on what to on this topic. And I'll go on to one of the comments we have. Sister Kumbi says fathers won't be able to achieve that balance without their wives. There's a need for division of labor, round pegs being in round holes, drawing from each other's strength and abilities. Exactly. So it takes two. It takes two to get it all done. So fathers need the help of the wives. That's why the wives are helpers. And so thank you very much for that contribution. Now we go on to the fourth question before the last one, which is what advice do you have for fathers on having difficult conversations about topics like mental health, pressure, peer pressure, and relationships with their children? How I know some are going into it gradually, some are already gone through it. And if you are in that situation where you've gone past that, maybe you are grandma or grandpa already, in the comment, please write it. How did you navigate that conversation? But for our viewers, for our guests today, what do you think the advice will be on how to have difficult conversations about those such topics with children?
All right. Thank you very much. This is very crucial. But quickly, to save
Yes.
our time, first thing is you need to talk to yourself first. Talk to yourself. If you're able to talk to yourself and you are able to overcome such mental stress or whatever, then just like saying there is no solution coming from anyone if you don't give yourself that solution. So it will build a kind of confidence in you. Then with that confidence, you will not want your children to see you as a failure. So you will therefore play the role I call empathy, you know, coming to think the way they think, trying to be in their shoes. Then you're able to speak to them the way they will understand. Then come so low to their level. Don't be judgmental at all. Let be a listener, a good listener. As they are speaking, you are nodding your head, so they know you are flowing. So they will speak everything to you, or you pick your pen, you notice, oh, daddy is taking note of my point. So he will be speaking to you freely, and then you'll be able to speak back because you have built a confidence that, oh, I'm speaking to someone who has a solution. So whatever you are offering that time is or she's seeing it as a solution. Then finally on that note, I will also say that you need to love them and show that love before the issue comes up. I'll give you an instance. Somebody, a child has just run into a trouble that could lead to a change of career against the will of the family and the will of that child himself or herself. And you just say, oh, you are so stupid, you are so this, you are so that, then it will build that thick skin. Say, go to place. But you just welcome the child. Oh yeah, anybody can make that problem, that mistake. They know you can still do this one, and then later you can do this. These are the prospects in this dimension. These are the prospects. You don't throw them away when they err. You let them know that anyone can err, but can we look for solution together? Once you are able to bring all this together, I see you conversing with them easily because they will be opening up to you for solution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Exactly. Have you got addition to it, Papa Francis?
Yeah, thank you for what my brother has said. Very important to mention that you don't come from the angle of being judgmental. I think I made that mistake at the earlier stage, and
Mhm.
I was always grandstanding on issues, and that was not the right approach. So I learned from that. So basically, I would say the first step is, let's, fathers, mothers, or whatever leaders leading a family, we need to learn first. You can't give what you don't have. So we need to acquire the right knowledge in all these areas. And sometimes, I know financial capacity are different, but sometimes if you cannot handle certain things, you might need to seek the help of professionals. You know, you can seek the help of professionals to support your children, like therapists, like uh, consultants who are specially trained to handle certain issues. So, like mental health issues, it's not everybody that can speak comfortably on mental health issues, because every every person's situation, every person having mental health issues, their situations are not the same. So you might not even know how to handle it. But if you know, great. But I will also say, find a safe space and the right time to talk about issues is very important. When a child is cranky, or maybe he just came back from school, he's tired, or he has gone for sporting activities, he's exhausted himself and he's tired, then he comes back home. That's when you are talking, William, uh, what we were talking about yesterday. The guy is, that is not the right time. For God's sake, the guy is tired, is exhausted. All he wants from you as a dad or as a parent, oh, you look tired. How did it go today? You need some water, you need some drink, or you want to take a shower, you want to eat, you need to take a rest. And that you even show emotion, that you it shows that you care about them. So that one comes first to me, that we need to learn and acquire knowledge, and also seek a safe time and a safe space to talk to our children about issues. Also, we should have an open mind ourselves. Have an open conversation. Don't be grandstanding like I was doing before. Don't just sit on saying this is how things has been done and that's how it must be done. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. And most importantly, what I always tell my family, my children, my wife, and everybody that stay with us is, every issue, we address every issue in this, based on how the scripture prescribes it. Because I don't think there is anything in this world that we are facing that we can't find solution, or how to handle it in the word of God. So loving the scripture, learning the scripture, and ability to relate what you are going through to what is going on with your kids. And you can draw references from the Bible. You can draw references from your own personal experience. And I also want to say, it's not wrong to show emotions. And that's uh, some of the myths of
Mm,
certain, especially culturally. If you are from Africa, they are, fathers should be strong. You need to. It sometimes you need to be vulnerable. Like, some years ago, I lost my job and I was devastated. And you know, I have to use the kids. They saw how how I felt, because they've always known their dad to go out, go to work, and come back, talk about work, talk about things, and then the topic shifts to looking for job, how to, you know.
Mm.
And I have to tell them sometimes things happen in life that you don't want to happen. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. It's still part of life. It doesn't mean you are not a Christian. It doesn't mean you are not a child of God. It doesn't mean you are doing anything wrong. It's just how life is. So sometimes
Yeah.
be open, be vulnerable to your kids, and then they will be vulnerable to you. They'll be able to tell you, because you have opened yourself up to how you feel about things. Then they can open themselves up to you as well, how they feel about things. So I think it's very important for us to be emotionally to show emotions sometimes when we need to show emotions, and then the children will be able to learn from that. And open communication is very key. So I would like to stop at that.
Thank you very much. It's there's so many points. I can't even summarize them now. So many points. And if you're just joining us, thank you for joining us. You can rewind, you can rewatch, you can send it to people who you think would need this information. Dads are talking. Somebody gave a challenge. So where are the dads after how many six series? We're just having the mothers talk. So where are the dads in this? And we thought, okay, let's bring up the dads, and thank you, dads, for for sharing your experience. It's so beautiful to listen to. And conversations, we need to keep the conversations going with the children, not just a one-time thing, once a year thing, or
Yeah.
round table once once Christmas time thing. It should be a continuous chat with them. Thank you very much for those points. Then that takes me to my final question, which is how can fathers um, model positive leadership, resilience, and respect to raise confident and responsible children? So, how can fathers um, model positive leadership, resilience, and respect to raise confident and responsible children? And when we say children, we're talking of both boys and girls. So how can fathers help them? Because fathers are like heroes. Fathers are the heroes of children. So please, teacher, let us hear from you, from your experience.
Okay, let me pick a point from my brother. He made mention of something the other time. You cannot give what you don't have.
Mm.
Okay, so if you are not a leader, we will find it difficult to build leaders as children. You find you've got to produce leaders coming behind you. And what does a leader actually stand to be? Someone who has ability to influence younger ones or followers to behave in a particular manner and getting a particular result. I would say that first thing, as a leader, you need to be optimistic, and that point of not being judgmental also comes in there. And again, you need to approach matters from positive, you know, solution-based perspective. Somebody is telling you that, oh, I am having these symptoms, and you know that symptoms is an element of a very deadly disease, and you already say, oh, that disease kills. You have already killed that person. But as he's saying it, and you're able to say, it's not that difficult. Can we just have some time to pray? You are making him to have interest in
Hope.
living. He's only having hope. So, first thing is, you should be a leader. We taught something about leadership styles, about different leadership styles, the laissez-faire, the autocratic. Then I put it that you should have the eclectic type. That is the one that, when you are in God, you are in Christ. That spirit of God influences your subconscious level. That when you need to be autocratic, you just discover that you displayed the autocratic nature, and when you need to be democratic, you just discover that you displayed the democratic, and then it will be solving the problem. But you shouldn't be someone that your children will say, Daddy is always like this. No, it shouldn't be always like this. Let's go to daddy, you will have solution. It's because you have been solving problem. When they think you will scold, a child could run to you and you will see in that child remorsefulness. Then you don't scold in that situation again. You'll be adding insult to injury. But if a child is not showing remorsefulness, you cannot give a scolding. So you need to be a leader yourself. And I tell you that at because I have been part of this at so many fora. If you are not contributing positively at different fora out there, you won't be able to do it at home. And if you are doing it at home, it reflects that you just get to some societal level or platform, they are picking you to speak on something. And you're wondering, these people are just meeting me for the first time. It's because they will see that aura on you that you're already a solution to problem from home. And I tell you, if you're able to solve such problems also out there, you will be transferring it to your home and vice versa. So one will be helping the other. That is, it is natural. If you are not having leadership in yourself, you can't give leadership to your children. Thank
Thank you. Thank you. So you can't give what you don't have. Thank you. So being an example. Yes, Papa Francis, have you got other
Yeah, thank you, ma.
points?
I'll say be your, you know, be a friend to your children. It's very important. Be your be your children's friend. When you are their friend, then you can show them things, they can show you things. And modeling leadership involves you understanding leadership itself. Do what you say. Don't just talk
Mm,
about it. Let your kids see you. Like for me, I like to see my kids see me do what I teach. See me do what I ask them to do. When I say, "Oh, you don't finish your food and leave your plate on the island or leave it on the dining table," when I finish my food myself, you see me take my plates to the sink. Either I wash, or if I cannot wash, I pre-wash and put in the dishwasher. So when I'm telling you that this is the proper behavior, you are seeing what I'm doing. So I'm not just ordering you to do it. So kids learn a lot from that. And also, I would say things may not be normal. In fact, things don't are not normal all the time. There are times your children you may feel that your children let you down. Don't allow the
you. Yeah,
situation to overrule your emotion. Be the
emotion.
first and the best cheerleader for your children, even when they mess up,
mm,
even when they misbehave. Be their cheerleader. They know that society might batter them, but they have a hand at home that is ready to receive them. I don't
Emotion.
tolerate bad behavior from my kids. I call it out as I see it. But even when I see something less expected, I call it out as well. But we should also make sure we correct in love. Everything we do should be based on love. And it's one thing for you to say you love me, and it's a different thing for me to see. I may see it differently. So do everything in love. Show your children that you love them, and let them also understand. Let them get to the point where they understand that you are doing these things out of true love for them. Like I always tell my
mm.
children, if you work hard, you are successful, you will be the first beneficiary of your success. Before you even remember
Yes.
you have a father or a mother, you are the first beneficiary. The fulfillment
Yes.
you get in being an accomplished person, you achieve your dream. That one on its own, nobody can share it with you. So it's very important for us to nurture and train the kids to be there to be their best. Confident, resilience. Sometimes things don't go the way you expect. Show that resilience. Show that you
Mm,
trust God Show that you are working hard to make things different. Sometimes around 2, like 12, 11, 12, 1, I'm still studying. And my kids come around and say, Daddy, you have not slept. What are you? I said, I have this exam to take. And sometimes they wonder, you're still taking an exam after all this. You have to keep learning. There are many things I don't know in life. I may not be able to know everything, but the things I've chosen to know, I will learn about them so that I can be able to handle them when the circumstance or situation comes. So it's very important we model, we show, we do what we say, not just talking about it. And let's love our children. Let's them also understand that we love them. See from the perspective that Daddy is doing this thing because he loves me, not just because that is just right or that's what must be done. So it's very important. Resilience and respect. Respect is very key and it's very lacking, especially if you live in the Western world. You will know that sometimes I tell my kids that I'm sometimes I feel afraid that I don't know what will be happening to the generation of your own children. I'm not talking about you particularly, but I'm talking about the generation that your
Yeah.
children and your children's children will live in. You know, so that aspect we also need to look at culture. Sometimes culture is very great. It defines the people, but sometimes culture can mislead us. So let's let's understand how we balance our culture, see our culture in the eyes of the scripture, of the word of God. And also let's model, let's teach, let's show our kids, our family, how to respect people. Tell them you can't see, and in Africa, in Nigeria, Yoruba, where I come from, whether it's your mom, your dad, or your uncle, your auntie, you can't see somebody first in the morning and you won't say good morning. I mean, it's a normal thing. But here, when kids get to class, teachers don't care whether they say hi or good morning or whatever, even though that is the norm. But I tell them, when you see your teacher, good morning, mister, look at them in the eye, call them by name, Mr. Francis, good morning, Mr. Francis. It goes a long way, So we
Yeah.
need to be able to show our kids all those. God bless you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for make finding time to educate us and even the mothers to show that there are still fathers who are interested in the growth of their children and not just leaving and dumping the whole thing on the laps of mothers. So thank you very much for this. And I will say that there's two quotes I want to talk about as I give the closing remark. Is one says as we one says uh, fatherhood is more than just a title. It is a calling, a commitment, and a privilege. The way we lead, the resilience we show, and the respect we demonstrate will shape the next generation in profound ways. Another one says being a father is not about being perfect, but about being present. It's about showing up, listening, guiding, and leading by example. So thank you very much for leading by example because I know this is yeah, somebody says thank you, sirs. Thank you very much. It's hard to get fathers to come out to do this, but thank you, thank you, thank you. We're so proud of you. Thank you for leading the way and showing the next generation of fathers that this is the way to go. This is the way to go. No one knows it all. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am, for putting this
You're
together.
welcome.
Like I said before, my family appreciates you and your family for what you are doing. And I know you are a blessing to our generation. God will continue to strengthen you. So I appreciate the opportunity to come on your show. Even though it's a
Thank
bit
you.
tight for me, but yeah, I'm glad that
Thank
I'm able to show up and I'll be happy to, you know, be there anytime whenever you need me.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Sunday Oluwadare. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, madam. Thank you for the show. Thank you for the opportunity. It is a worthwhile effort. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. We have our final one next week, which is future. Where's that one? Let me bring it up now. The last one for the series. Well, if except the parent mamas and papas say otherwise, but the last one for the series is on. It's supposed to be not the role of fathers. It's I've lost it now. Yeah, preparing kids for the future. So this is for fathers and mothers to come online. So that's the next topic. I hope you will be able to find time to join us then. So the women and the men will be coming together to tell us how to prepare children for the future. Thank you very much, Papa Francis and Papa Sunday. God bless you. We'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Have a good rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
And you. Thank you. Bye-bye. So you've heard it all from our papas. What else can I say? I have nothing else to say. They've said it all and even more. So thank you very much for staying tuned up to this moment. Thank you to Mama Dekumbi Ajayi for interacting with us behind the scene. Thank you so much as well. And if you're watching it again, as you watch, please write your comments, write your questions, and hey, we may actually be able to take it for next week. So next week is how to prepare children for the future. Are you ready? Let us do this together. Write your comments, write your questions, and please share, and let us all learn together. Have a good evening. And this is where I draw the curtain for this week. Till next week. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to like. Welcome to Dr. Bunmi Abel TV, where we inspire and inform you endlessly, with knowledge to guide, uplift, and grow. Thank you for joining, it's a journey, let's go. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. From wisdom to insight, each video's a gift, helping you rise, giving your spirit a lift. So hit that subscribe, stay tuned to see all the great things on Dr. Bunmi Abel TV. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game. To all the new subscribers, welcome aboard. We're so glad you're here, there's so much in store. Returning friends, thank you once again. Together we'll learn and share the game.